Joining us now for more, Florida Congresswoman Ana Paulina Luna. It's been a busy day, Congresswoman. Good to see you. At this point,
nice to see you too.
Who are these people who are still blocking the truth from the public?
Well, to our knowledge, it is definitely members of the intelligence community. And then also, too, we were recently denied access out of the Department of War, stating that we didn't have access and the proper, I guess, need-to-know authorities to look at some of the classified footage that is out there. As you saw in that clip that you just showed, there's actually some footage that was dead dropped to Eric Burleson, of which he then provided it to the task force. And so all I have to say is, look, in the interest of national security and national defense, obviously this is something that we should question and look to find answers for, but also it also signifies a massive problem when you have elements within our own government that are denying access to Congress. And this is not just a bipartisan effort, this is bicameral, meaning the House and the Senate are both supporting this, both Democrats and Republicans. It's probably one of the few things that is bipartisan. And actually this week, I think it's going to be on this upcoming week on the 17th, there's going to be a movie coming out called The Age of Disclosure, of which Secretary of State Marco Rubio is in there talking about this exact topic. And I think everyone should watch it.
Let me ask you about that, and I will. You're on the record talking about, quote, non-human life forms that could be interdimensional beings who are visiting us. Can you just explain more to people at home what that might mean?
Yeah, so that's definitely a mouthful, but that is directly based on information that we've received from witnesses, also information that we have obtained and witnessed via our investigations. There's some stuff that I can't disclose of what I have immediately seen in some of these skiffs, but what I will tell you is this is not just some crazy conspiracy theory. Obviously, there's been massive reporting, not just in the United States, but around the world. And this is something that I think everyone kind of, has always had some curiosity about. We're just simply asking the questions now publicly.
And it feels like we're building towards some sort of disclosure. I know many people are hoping that Donald Trump is president and that he's ultimately the person that allows that to happen. We just had the acting NASA administrator and transportation secretary, Sean Duffy, on this show moments ago. And I asked him about this, what they're calling a comet, 3I Atlas. Take a listen to his response.
The experts at NASA have said this is a comet. It walks like a comet, talks like a comet, struts like a comet. It's a comet. And some people have said, listen, there's alien life on here, or that at one point they said it was going to hit the Earth. Not true. But it is a fascinating comet.
There's no conspiracy.
You mentioned Kim Kardashian, so I wanted to clarify that. No, there's no conspiracy theory.
You did. All right. So, Congresswoman, NASA has yet to release the photos. They're releasing other photos every day. They blame the shutdown. They've yet to release the photos. Do you buy that from Sean Duffy?
Yeah, I actually had a conversation with NASA because I was helping Avi Loeb, who's actually a Harvard astrophysicist who's been looking into this for some time.
Right.
And remember, this is going to be one of many objects that we're going to be getting through that are interstellar because of the technology that we have now. So there is some anomalies about the comet, like, for example, it lost its tail, which is pretty much one of the first that we've ever seen. But I do believe that it's a passing through comet. And so I don't think that we are going to have any contact with any non-human intelligence yet. But the ruling's still out there on what this is. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to ask you about some legislation that you've been a part of to prevent basically another Nancy Pelosi from ever happening again. It would ban congressional stock trading. Why isn't there, two questions, I guess. Why hasn't this already happened? And why is there not massive bipartisan support for something that makes so much sense?
Well, there's massive bipartisan support from the American people, but as you're seeing, insider trading, which members of Congress will tell the American people it's not happening in Congress, but that's because they're all doing it. Right. It does exist. There are members that are receiving insider information prior to shifts in the market. Not to mention, they're also massively getting returns on their investments to the tune of sometimes 600, 700%. In Nancy Pelosi's case, I think the number is like 17,000% return on her investment. And so we are pushing the ban for that. And of course, we're hearing that there's some support from leadership, but then I also just received a tip from a reporter that said, actually, they're trying to kill it. So I actually was very proactive and filed something called a discharge petition. So if I smell any funny business, I will be bringing that forward. And I have a lot of support from colleagues to include all factions of the Republican conference that are going to be supporting this. So they can explain to their constituency why they believe that they should be insider trading, betting against the markets, betting against their own people, or enriching themselves instead of working on behalf of the American people. And my job and message to them is, if you want a job in stock trading, go to Wall Street, don't go to Congress.
Nancy Pelosi's portfolio over the life of her career in Congress has performed better than Bernie Madoff, who was actually cheating. It was actually a Ponzi scheme, and everyone thinks this is perfectly normal. Congresswoman, great to see you tonight. Thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.